Here's a wake-up call for today's progressive left: stray too far from the core values that once made you the engine of real change, and you'll start losing your brightest minds. Nowhere is that more obvious than in the explosive moment you're about to see. Ana Kasparian of the Young Turks just dropped a fiery truth bomb on New York's disastrous prison and bail reform, and it's blowing up right in Governor Kathy Hochul's face. Strap in. This isn't just a rant, it's a reckoning. And afterward, we'll break down what's really going on beneath the surface.
There was just a crime on Long Island where body parts were found all over Long Island. They had 4 suspects. They let them go.
Right.
And now they're out there still. So what is the deal here?
Right.
Sounds insane to me.
Though the crime that was brought was not what was bail eligible.
So you can't hold them?
Not on the charges he brought.
But
those are low-level charges. They really weren't. We can work to make those bail eligible in the next session.
Dismembering a corpse and hiding a corpse after dismembering it. Not bail eligible. Not a serious crime. Listen, if being on the left means supporting this, then I'm not on the left, and I'm okay with that.
Ana Kasparian is usually the calm voice of reason on the Young Turks panel, but when she's the one setting fire to her own political camp, you know something's gone seriously off the rails. Welcome to New York, ground zero for one of the most ambitious progressive experiments in the country. The results? Let's just say you won't be seeing them on any tourism brochures. Energy bills are spiking as cheap non-renewables are phased out, police budgets are on the chopping block, and worst of all, violent offenders are cycling in and out of jail like it's a subway turnstile. The culprit? A deeply flawed bail reform law that ties judges' hands behind their backs. They're allowed to consider whether a defendant might skip town, but not whether they're a danger to the public. Yes, you read that right, public safety isn't even on the checklist. It's not that bail reform is a bad idea. It's that this version was rolled out with all the grace of a train wreck. And even Kasparian sees the fuse burning. This isn't just a policy failure. It's a political time bomb for Democrats, and Governor Kathy Hochul is standing right on top of it.
What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing, Jake? What are we doing? What are we doing? Someone tell me, what the F are we doing?
Yeah, look, no one signed up for this.
Come at me right now and tell me I'm the bad guy, because I want these people who dismembered corpses and tried to conceal the evidence in prison. Come at me and tell me I'm the bad guy. Come at me.
Look, guys.
Insane. You guys are insane. Anyone who thinks this is okay is insane. And everyone else in New York has to suffer the consequences of this with random bag checks at the subway by National Guard troops.
The time where we have the right wing, which has lost its mind, you're taking good people that would normally be on the left and driving them to the right wing.
Damn
with
right
this
they are.
madness. And no one agreed to it. I don't mean the voters. I mean on the left. When did we have a vote? When did we decide in a primary or a ballot measure that we should do any of this? I never once heard it at any progressive get-together, any progressive. No one has ever proposed this. All of a sudden, in 2019, these activists popped up in all these cities, and they're like, okay, well, you know what?
How did they succeed? I want to know.
They got massive funding.
Whether the Young Turks want to admit it or not, Cenk Uygur's point couldn't be more obvious, and it's sitting right next to him, Ana Kasparian. In just a few months, Ana has become a lightning rod for a new wave of progressive activists, the kind she barely even recognizes anymore. She hasn't shifted to the right, but it's clear she's become disillusioned with the version of the left she once defended with passion. Exhibit A. Early last year, Ana posted what most would consider a basic, common-sense take on the gender language debate. Her tweet read, "I am a woman. Please don't ever refer to me as a person with a uterus, birthing person, or someone who menstruates. How do people not realize how degrading that is? You can support the transgender community without doing this." Not exactly a right-wing manifesto. But the reaction? Nuclear. Within hours, activists and influencers piled on, branding her transphobic, not for attacking anyone, but for stating her own identity on her own terms. Instead of folding, Ana fired back. LOL? The meltdown over wanting to be referred to as a woman rather than a birthing person is pretty wild. I'll never apologize for that, especially as a biological woman who has spent a lifetime being told I am less than. I am a woman. No apologies. The whiplash was real. After years of championing social justice, suddenly the movement she helped build turned on her, just for stepping an inch outside the rigid ideological lines. That was the moment the floor dropped out. The rug was pulled not by political opponents, but by the very people she once called allies. And now, one question keeps hanging in the air, not just for Ana, but for a growing number of disillusioned progressives. Has Ana Kasparian actually left the left, or has the left left her?
I'm in the same place. I have the same audience. The audience doesn't like some of what I have to say or some of the new conclusions I've come to. And so I wanted to kind of set the record straight about what I have personally experienced. I don't know what my political labels are at this point, right? Because I feel like I don't really fit anywhere. And that's just full honesty. It's, again, very uncomfortable for me. And I want to say that out of any point in my adult life, this is probably the point where I'm the most malleable and open to new information because of what I've experienced over the last few years.
If I were forced to wager, I wouldn't say Ana has crossed the great ideological divide. No, it's not that simple. It's that the left, the very ground she once stood on with certainty and conviction, has shifted, sprinted, even, into waters so deep, so radical, that she's refused to follow it into the abyss. We've watched this film before. Dave Rubin, once a staple of TYT, made his break, a public, controversial reckoning, and Ana, then still firm in her ideological roots, dismissed his departure as betrayal. But here's the twist, the arc she once criticized is becoming her own. Now, Ana finds herself standing at a crossroads, not quite right, not quite left, and certainly not at home in the political tribe she once called family. She's confessed, even, that she no longer knows what label fits her. But in that confession lies something powerful, a vulnerability, yes, but also a rare form of intellectual bravery. In a world that demands allegiance and punishes deviation, Ana dares to rethink, to reassess, to ask questions she never imagined would cross her mind. That's not betrayal. That's growth. To question your own tribe, to look your own convictions in the eye and ask, are you still true? That takes more than thought. It takes courage. And that courage? That's what real independence looks like. It's messy. It's lonely. But it's honest. So now we ask ourselves, have our political tribes become so rigid, so doctrinaire, that the mere act of thinking differently is treated as heresy? Or is this what evolution truly looks like, raw, uncertain, uncomfortable, and yet, necessary? Let me know in the comments below. Because this conversation? It's far from over.